Hey everyone, it's Michael. Today we're going to be talking about a TV episode adaptation from the old Goosebumps show of one of the books I recently read, and I believe, if my recording schedule works correctly, that it'll be the review for Scarecrow Walks at Midnight, which I recently read for the first time ever. It was a really solid book, very fun, kind of predictable, but really fun. Again, check out the review if you want some more information on my thoughts about that whole thing. The video, of course, the DVD is right here, Scarecrow Walks at Midnight, and this is a pretty good adaptation. I actually kind of dig this adaptation. I actually think in some respects it's a little bit scarier than the actual book itself. There's a lot of tension building here. It is more of like a kid's audience type of scary, but it's still pretty good. Pretty good for an old Goosebumps TV episode, as low budget as these tend to be. This was Season 2, Episode 14. It premiered on November 9th, 1996, which was my second birthday. Or, well, 2 days after my second birthday. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. So, anyway, for anybody who doesn't know the story of Scarecrow Walks at Midnight from the old Goosebumps series, from the old classic 62-book era, essentially there are two kids, a brother and sister, who are going to their grandparents' house for a vacation. They don't get to see them very often, but they went to see them this time. And of course, there's a farmhand that also works here. He's pretty much been working here for like 20 years. His name is Stanley. He's a very, very weird older man. Not as old as the grandfather, but still pretty old. Probably 20 years younger, as a matter of fact. And he has a son named Styx, who's probably a teenager. I would say he's a little bit older in the book compared to the brother and sister that are our main characters, whereas in this episode it seems like he's about the same age as those two, not like 4 or 5 years older than them. I like the episode a lot. I think it has a lot going for it. It's a 20-minute long episode. It's not a two-parter where it would end up being about 40 minutes long. So for 20 minutes as an adaptation of Scarecrow Walks at Midnight, the novel from R.L. Stine, I liked it a lot. I thought it was pretty solid. I thought it had a lot going for it. It was well filmed. They actually filmed on a farming location, which was really good. It was a corn field, I guess. I was really surprised. I really like the scope of this episode. And when I say scope, we're talking about in terms of Goosebumps. You know, the biggest scope that we typically get is something like this, or like the set of Night of the Living Dummy 3. It's pretty much a house and a yard, and that's about as big as it gets. But, again, more broad, especially here with having a big farm and everything to film on. Almost like what a film would go for Goosebumps. But yeah, this was a fun episode. Basically, as the title shows, there's kind of a threat with these scarecrows on the actual field. And we don't really know if they're alive or not. That's kind of the big thing here. At some point, the weirdo farmhand, Stanley, walks up to the two kids and tells them at one point, when they see one of the scarecrows kind of up close, that the scarecrows can walk at midnight. Because he brought them to life one time. Supposedly, because he found this book, right? And he read this magical book out loud, and apparently it possibly brought these things to life. And Stanley's son, Styx, kind of just doesn't like the two kids. He kind of wants to keep his distance from them. He kind of keeps to himself and his father. They actually have like their own little trailer out somewhere around the farm itself. They're not living in the same house as the grandparents. But that's really all I want to tell you. I don't want to tell you too much about the episode in case you haven't seen it and you want to see it at some point if you haven't read the book, because it's pretty close to the book. The finale is very different. There are certain aspects of the book, especially in the finale, that I was really hoping we'd see in the actual episode. One thing we did get, if you read the book and you love the book, the scene, the dream sequence, right? I'll just leave it at that. The dream sequence, that's in the episode, and it's kind of creepy. Not as creepy as in the book, but for kids' entertainment, this dream sequence thing in this episode is pretty genuinely eerie. I was kind of surprised by what we saw here. But yeah, this is a good episode. I like the kind of fall time feel to it. It has a very southern style to it. Even the music, the soundtrack, score, episode music, whatever you want to call it, had a very country, kind of down-home, kind of swamp background music, and it worked really well. I really dug that for this episode. It seems like the individual episodes have their own specific type of music to accompany them, and I really respect that because it seems like it was really done well here, apparently. It suited very well. Of course, the Goosebumps theme song is very good. The directing was fine. I thought that there's a lot of destruction in this. A lot of people busting through walls and stuff, which kind of surprised me. I didn't expect to see that in a Goosebumps thing, much less Scarecrow Walks at Midnight. So it was very different. It was very unique, I would say, compared to a lot of the Goosebumps TV episodes. If you want something that seems like it's on the higher end of a budget compared to most of Goosebumps, I would recommend this a lot. Scarecrow Walks at Midnight is not fantastic. It's kind of predictable as an episode, and especially as a book, like I said. But I was pretty impressed. I dig it. I definitely think it's worth time to take out to watch this, or to buy the $2 episode off Vudu if you get a chance to. I think it was pretty good. I like the DVD copy. I'm glad I have it. I think my grandmother got it for me probably right before she passed away, somewhere in there, in like 2015 or 2014, somewhere in there, which is a bigger blessing, makes the DVD even more valuable to myself. But anyway, what are your thoughts on the TV episode of Scarecrow Walks at Midnight? What did you also think about the book? Put your thoughts and comments down in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. If I had to rate this video, or this episode, on a 5-star basis, I would probably give Scarecrow Walks at Midnight. And again, this is remembering that our basis is Not a Living Dummy 3 is probably a 5 out of 5 for me. I don't know what I would call a 1 out of 1, but you kind of get the scale of what I'm saying for, you know, fantastic episodes, the best of the episodes. I would give this a 4 out of 5. I think it's really solid. It ain't perfect, but it's pretty good. I also think the acting is a little wonky. I think a lot of especially the two main kids, the brother and sister, they're not very well acted, especially the girl. The girl that plays Jodie in this, she is not very good. Even the little brother, he just kind of has to smile and stand around. His name is Mark in the episode. But the kid that played Styx, I thought did a fantastic job. And the guy playing Stanley, the farmhand, did fantastic too, by the way. Apparently he has a pretty big career. He's been in like 123 things according to IMDb. So he's had a pretty successful career in my opinion. Even if it was small bit parts, he did a good job as being just the eerie fellow. He was good here. So yeah, pretty decent episode. I'm mostly surprised by how good it was. And I find myself being more and more surprised when I see this. Because I've only seen this one episode, again, just once with my fiance. And I've never read the book until recently as well. So I'm pretty impressed by how good it actually was. And I don't remember the episode being as good as it is when I first saw it, like a year ago. So, yeah. Anyway, put your thoughts and comments down below, guys. Thank you for watching. May the Lord Jesus Christ bless you guys today, and goodbye.